Washington as the Huskers beat the Huskies by the score of 86-72. Nebraska trailed by 10 points at halftime. They outscored Washington 49-25 in the second half, went on to pick up their third straight win. So things are looking a lot better for Nebraska on a possible postseason berth, maybe inching our way into the Big Ten Conference basketball tournament later on this year. Nebraska now sitting at 15-8 in the season. They're at 5-7 in the conference. They've got a big game against Ohio State coming up on Sunday at home. Tip-off of that game on Super Bowl Sunday is set for 1 o'clock. You'll be able to see it on BTN. So the Huskers picking up a good victory last night at Washington. Meanwhile, the Nebraska women's basketball team, they have got a ball game coming up. They've got a basketball game coming up tonight against Michigan at home. The Huskers are currently sitting at 16-6 on the season. They'll try to rebound after their loss to Indiana on Sunday, so we'll be talking about that coming up. Hastings College basketball teams, they were in action last night. The Hastings College women got up to a great start against Mount Marty and beat the Lancers by the score of 90-52. So Hastings is now 17-6 on the season. They're 12-5 in the conference. They'll get ready to make a road trip on Saturday to Sioux City to take on Morningside. Meanwhile, the Hastings College men's basketball team, they lost to Mount Marty 58-54. Hastings had a tough time putting the ball in the hole again last night. They hit only 35% of their field goals in the ball game, including 8 of 28 from three-point range. So the Broncos, they dropped to 3-19 in the season. They're now 2-13 in the conference. So also play at Morningside on Saturday. Hastings College baseball team, they're going to be in action today down in Salina, Kansas. Hastings College softball team, they've got a busy weekend. They're going to be playing at Kansas Wesleyan on Saturday and Friends University on Sunday. The Nebraska Kearney football team, they announced their 2025 recruiting class yesterday. It includes 45 newcomers that will suit up for the Lopers this fall. We'll talk about that coming up. There's some high school basketball tonight with Adams Central playing at Kearney Catholic. Ohio State has made a promotion as they've got a new offensive coordinator, kind of a new old offensive coordinator. We'll tell you about that coming up as well. And slugger Pete Alonso and the New York Mets, they have reached an agreement on a new contract. So lots of things to talk about here today on this Thursday morning as we welcome in Tyson from the Western Studios here this morning. Good morning.
And a good morning to you, Mike, as we get going here on this Thursday. Yeah, busy week here on the Western Studio front. We've got a Grand Island Little Theater show that's going to be opening on Friday. Dress rehearsal last night, and yeah, just keeping really busy. So lots going on. And then on the news front, certainly we'll dive into the Thermo King fire story that broke last night, and a new superintendent for Hastings Public Schools. So we got plenty to get to on the news front as well as we get going. But yeah, you mentioned the Pete Alonso news. There's been some NBA trade news with Luka Doncic moving over, and now Jimmy Butler moving over. So some big names starting to circulate in the NBA as well. And the Huskers picking up a big win late last night, and no, that's not why I'm up at 7:04 and rolling into the studios. Didn't watch that Husker game. Just forgot to set the old alarm last night. So great on me.
You're having some alarm issues as of late.
Oh no, it was not even as of late. It was just literally was on the couch watching TV. Took a little night, and didn't.
All of a sudden it's morning.
So yeah,
all of a sudden it's morning.
Good morning.
Well, yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for letting me in.
Well, at least you answered your phone.
Yeah.
It is a Thursday. We'll get your bearings straight here. It's a Thursday.
You ever do that where you're dreaming of like working, and you think you're at work, and then you realize, oh no, I'm not at work because my phone's ringing. We were literally doing a show.
You were doing your show in your sleep?
I was doing the show in the sleep.
How was things going for you?
We're so damn good at this, man. We can do this in our sleep.
It was a damn good show. It just nobody could hear it.
No, right?
Anyway,
No. Yeah.
thanks for joining us. And
Absolutely.
thanks for joining us for the show on your website. If you're listening to us at x-streamsports.com, thanks for joining us. Maybe on your smartphone on your way to work or school this morning with our free mobile app, your smart speaker, Roku TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're watching or listening to us. Thanks for joining us for another day. If you'd like to leave us a message on the social media sites, we encourage you to do so. Tyson is monitoring all the comments in his Western studios. Plus, if you'd like to give us a call, you can. 402-834-1330 is our telephone number. 402-834-1330. Lots of things to talk about. We'll start with Nebraska. The Huskers have been on the West Coast now. It seems like forever. They picked up a win over Oregon. I think they just stayed out there because they had a game against Washington last night. A big win. The Huskers trailed by 10 at halftime. I thought, oh boy. Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Here
here we come. But the Huskers, they outscored the Huskies in the second half 49-25, and they cruised to a 14-point win over Washington. And all of a sudden, the Huskers' resume for the dance is starting to look pretty good. We're sitting at 15-7, 15-8 now on the season, 5-7 in the conference. Now, if we finish out the season strong, get into the Big Ten tournament, maybe we do have some postseason hopes for the Huskers this year.
Well, and I think, most importantly, Mike, it's got to start with we got to take care of biz, right? We have to take care of business on our end. We can take a look at these projections and these bracketologists, and we can take a look at everything that we got going in the right direction for us. But if we can't take care of our own business, and then they're irrelevant, right? Because how quickly did it turn the last time that we were in the last four in, and we were talking about the big dance and not being ranked, for Christ's sake, and then you turn around and you go on that 6-game skid. So as long as you continue to pick up your wins and you continue to move forward as a basketball team, yeah, your resume looks pretty damn good right now. It's 2 big wins on the West Coast. Matching flipping the calendar in February and matching the most top 25 wins that a team has had in a season. That's a real impressive resume for this Husker basketball team. And yeah, you mentioned it. Finding a way. You're down 10. Everybody in the state that was up watching that game is probably thinking the exact same thing. Oh, yep, this is Nebraska basketball that we know and love, and come up with a big, strong second half.
Yeah, a lot of people probably didn't watch the second half. Probably by halftime they thought, oh, God, here we go. I'm not going to stay up and watch this thing. So if you're waking up this morning and just joining us, yeah, the Huskers came back last night and beat Washington. Again, the final score in the contest last night, 86-72. Now come home, take care of business, and get a win over Ohio State on Sunday. So that's the next thing. I think every single game from here on out has got to be like a playoff-type atmosphere and a playoff mentality for the Nebraska men's basketball team. I saw a bracketology guy come out yesterday, and Nebraska is the last team in.
Yeah.
So that we're on a razor-thin margin of error here down the stretch. Nebraska was the last team in to the big dance in the one I saw yesterday.
Yeah, you're in the last 4 in. That means TCOB. You got to take care of business on your end. Shane asks, by the way, on the group chat here as we open up some of the comments. Illinois losing to Rutgers last night. Help or hurt Nebraska? It's different. We lost to Rutgers, right? So I actually, in a roundabout way, we beat a top 25 Illinois team in overtime. We lost to a Rutgers team that I think a lot of people realize, had they been healthy early on, would have been a really good basketball team. And you got to take into account that this isn't like a BCS style college football formula, okay? Where your strength of schedule doesn't take into consideration what
you need
happened,
quality.
what happened earlier in the season. You have a selection committee that puts eyeballs and is going to be able to look at a Rutgers team that is clearly vastly improved from where they were at when they had some of their best players unhealthy to where they're at now. And I think you got to take that into consideration. That's the Rutgers win, by the way, didn't even surprise me last night. That was maybe the least shocking thing that happened in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I agree. The way Rutgers was playing, and certainly when we saw them a couple of weeks ago against Nebraska, I don't think it has much of an impact. I think we're building our resume. You know how that selection committee works. When we get down to the 68 or 64 teams or whatever it is, you know how that works. Well, let's see. They picked up a quadrant one road win there. That's a good win, but they lost. You know how all that stuff works.
Well,
so.
and if anything, the Rutgers win over Illinois helps make that loss less impactful, right?
Yeah, I agree.
You know, where you lose to Rutgers and then they turn around and they beat a top 25 team, and I think you take a look at that loss and that looks like less of a glare because of what they can potentially do moving forward as a program.
All right, we'll talk more about the Husker victory coming up throughout the hour. Also going to be hearing from Danny Busboom Kelly here during the show. She's going to be formally introduced as the head volleyball coach in Nebraska. I think 2 o'clock is the time all that gets going. But we got some comments for her as she gets ready to take over the reins from John Cook. We'll hear from her in just a little bit. I wanted to bring this up. Your Los Angeles Rams, they're going to be playing a game in 2026 in Australia.
Sweet.
Yeah, the NFL is expanding now to Australia. We played games in Mexico the past few years, and now the NFL is expanding to Australia. The Rams going to be hosting a game there. It's going to be in Melbourne at the iconic Melbourne Cricket Ground. It'll be the first ever NFL game played in Australia. It's part of the league's new multi-year commitment to play regular season games in Australia. The Rams' opponent, along with the date and kickoff time, will be announced at a later date. But book it in for 2026. The Rams are playing in Australia.
I mean,
does it excite you?
I kind of hope they stay there because they're not my Rams anymore. They used to be. And then that crooked owner, who we won't mention his name on the show because it's a PG show, and I've got a few expletives for his name, moves that team off to LA. I hope they go to Sydney and they're like, hey, this is a nice dig.
Are you ever going to get over that?
Absolutely not.
How long ago was that the Rams moved out of St. Louis?
It doesn't matter. It still stings.
You've got to get over it.
No.
It's look at the Raiders.
As long as he is the owner of that football team, I hope they lose all their games.
Well, okay, let's say he sells the team and he still is out in Los Angeles. He's still going to be pissed off at him?
If he sells the team?
Yeah.
No, I'll get over it.
You're going to get over the new owner takes over?
Rams neutral. No, they are. You gotta have a team to hate.
No, you've carried that beef on long enough.
No, I don't let stuff go, man.
Anyway, the Rams are going to be playing. By the way, one of their home games in 2026 is against the Chiefs. Oh, nice. I bet that's the game that's going to be moved to Australia. It just why wouldn't it?
You got a funky feeling.
Yeah, I got a funky feeling. You got the Chiefs on your schedule.
What's the time zone difference, by the way? Like,
I know. I was
have to get up and watch that.
I was thinking about that. We're making these guys play 18 games now, and now we're shipping teams to Australia to play. Won't that screw up about 3 weeks? Because you got to get ready to go to Australia. You got to go to Australia, and it's going to take you about a week to recover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's too fair.
And then the NFL is probably going to line you up with a Thursday game.
Yeah, that's probably what they'll do. You come back and then, we got to play a Thursday game, as NFL would do.
Stroman's up. Stroman saying Nebraska is the only thing hurting Nebraska at this point.
Guys, yeah.
Yep. Chief Endorf saying go Avalanche. By the way, the Stan Kroenke ownership group also owns the Colorado Avalanche, which if you ask me anything about hockey, I will tell you that Colorado is the lowest team on the face of the earth because of their ownership group.
God, you gotta
Arsenal
get over
in
that.
soccer. No, this guy is like my mortal enemy number one. He is he's the Penguin to my Batman. Like he's evil.
Shane says Australia is 17 hours ahead of the central time zone. 17 hours. That can't be right, can it?
17 hours is a lot.
Ahead of the central time zone?
I don't even know how to.
God, I don't even know how to calculate that.
It's
it's 7 o'clock here. It's 7 o'clock here on a Thursday. It's already Friday in Australia at like about noon.
Is that what?
That'd be about right.
Oh, world clock. Let's pull her up here.
Well, it'd be about 11 or 12 o'clock
So
in
it's
Australia.
Sydney?
Yeah, it's gonna be in Melbourne.
Melbourne, of course.
So it's 7 o'clock here. So 17 hours would be.
It is currently midnight on a Friday in Australia.
So it's midnight.
It's midnight in Melbourne.
Yeah, that'd be right.
And it's Friday morning.
Yeah. So how's that gonna work?
Good Lord.
How's that gonna work to take NFL teams and play in Australia? God.
It's
Any
gonna be
other
the Chiefs.
Any other great idea? Yeah, it'll be the Chiefs in 2000. That's something to look forward to in 2026.
So if it's midnight.
Yeah, so we're gonna play on.
We'll play what, prime time?
Probably play on Sunday sometime. Gosh, I don't know. That'd be too hard to figure out.
Dude, my head is hurts.
My head's spinning already. It already hurts. It already hurts.
You didn't just wake up.
Former Carolina Panthers and Washington Commanders head coach Ron Rivera. We've talked about him a couple of times on this show here in the past couple of weeks about maybe him getting a look at some head coaching jobs.
Riverboat Ron, yeah.
Riverboat Ron is going back to school.
Joe, my dad, I'm not a fool.
He's going back to his alma mater, California, to help out the football program there. Not as a coach. His role would primarily be an administrative type job. He would be involved in oversight of the program and its big picture needs, including budget, coaching staff, and the student athlete experience. In other words, he needs a job, and his alma mater stepped up and said, hell, we'll just create something here.
We'll make a position for you.
Yeah, well, come on out. Hang out in California. Help us raise a little money out there for the University of Cal. We'll create a job for you. So Riverboat Ron has a job.
Going to be shaking a lot of hands and doing a lot of the parents thing probably. And
shaking hands, kissing babies.
Yep. Oh,
So,
by the way, did you know I was a coach in the NFL? And
yeah, used to coach the Panthers.
know what it takes to get there.
Remember me from the Commanders? I was the head coach there too. Hall of Fame broadcaster Dick Vitale is returning to broadcasting for the first time in nearly 2 years. He'll be courtside for Saturday's matchup between second-ranked Duke and Clemson. It'll be a 6 o'clock start, 5 o'clock start our time on ESPN. Dickie Boy is 85. He's been fighting cancer for the past 3.5 years. He announced earlier this year, back on January the 8th, that he is cancer-free. He was supposed to return to a game on January the 25th, and then that was postponed due to an accident in his home. So Dickie Boy's on the mend. He was hospitalized for a while. He must have fell at his home sometime during January. So anyway, he's going to be back at the microphone for Saturday's game between Duke and Clemson. Good to see Dick Vitale back on the sidelines
Absolutely.
for ESPN. So
yeah, voice of college basketball. You don't think about college basketball without thinking about Dick Vitale and everything he has brought to the game, just in terms of his voice and his attitude and everything that goes along with that. New look dig, by the way, on the on the stream. Have you seen this? We got all of our apps everywhere you can find us, plastered all over on the banner there. Got our logo up at the top, the sponsor wheel now moving over to the bottom right. And so anywhere and everywhere that you want to find us or click on us or give us a subscription there, you can find it right on the stream.
Oh, that'd be neat. That's cool.
Neat little digs. Don't
IT
forget
guy
the pudding packs, Ron. That's what he says.
IT guy must have had some time available, messing around with us again.
He went to work.
he gets bored. I think he gets bored and he just thinks of that stuff. So anyway, yeah, you can join us again. Leave us a message. Tyson will monitor those. We've got a lot of people in the house already today. Thanks for joining us. Again, 402-834-1330 is our telephone number if you'd like to chime in. You mentioned Jimmy Butler. Some NBA talk here this morning. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Butler, he was not having a good time down in Miami. He's been suspended a couple of times for not adhering to team rules. Anyway, they shipped him out yesterday.
Yep.
Jimmy Butler is now a member of the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, that was as you move forward, there was the Luka trade, which I think was the one that surprised everybody, to have a player of a caliber like that, and just about anybody and everybody that receives that phone call. And then there was teams that were involved in the three-way trade that didn't even realize that Luka was a part of the conversation within that. So I mean, it was under the radar, it was under the rug, and all of a sudden they just made this surprise move, and it took the NBA world by storm, and completely by surprise. Even Luka himself had no idea he was even being involved in those discussions. And then you move over to the Jimmy Butler story, and I think that was the most anticipated, given everything that had gone on with his attitude in Miami. And so that was the least shocking. We have two big stars on two completely different ends of the spectrum of expectations. But yeah, the Luka one from earlier this week was just a complete head scratcher, and for Dallas to make a move like that, fans obviously upset, and that franchise is going to be hurting. You can take a look at the youth that they're going to bring in and the potential that they're going to get for it. But I think that Dallas is clearly in selling mode at this point, and yeah, to ship one of your stars away off to the big city, that's difficult for them to swallow. So I mean, I know a couple Mavericks fans that were very vocal about, and anytime you would be, right, like as if that would be the Kansas City Chiefs equivalent to without warning. So Patrick Mahomes is gonna go play for Denver now. We've traded him. We've traded him, and by the way, you're going to get one of their third string running back. That's the equivalent to losing a guy like Luka, right? And so you get it when stars move on, stars that you thought were going to build a franchise around. It's tough for the fan base to take that.
As far as this agreement, Butler is going to decline his $52 million player option for next season. He's planning to sign a new 2-year, $111 million deal that will carry through the 2026-2027 season. The Warriors will send forwards Andrew Wiggins and Kyle Anderson, plus a top 10 protected 2025 first-round pick to the Heat. There's some other players involved and some other teams, but that was a multi-team trade that was pulled off late last night. Jimmy Butler going from Miami to Golden State. So that's one thing in the NBA. And then we mentioned baseball news with the Mets and Pete Alonso reaching an agreement, $54 million, 2-year contract. He's been banging out balls out of the ballpark since his debut back in 2019. Mm-hmm. He's got 226 home runs. That trails only Aaron Judge, who we've heard so much about here in the past couple of years. Judge has 232. So I'm glad they came to terms there. Pete Boy and the New York Mets.
I'm a little surprised, actually.
Are you torn on this or what?
Well, a little bit, because, I thought that when we were talking about the Mets and they're making a bunch of splash free agent hires, I didn't think they'd honestly be able to come up with the money to figure out how to keep Pete Alonso. I honestly thought he was going to be hitting balls out of the ballpark somewhere else, and so I was a little surprised to see that that they found a way to structure that contract to make that work. They got some big stars on that team, and they're loading up, but it's also, God, the Mets are so much like the Jets, right? And no offense to our Jets fans out there, but there's a lot of preseason expectations that get involved with these teams. And last year they made the postseason, but they always find a way to fumble. They always find a way to just peter down out the stretch, whether it's a late season collapse or whether it's just a fade out in the postseason. The Mets find a way to Met. And so I'm just surprised. I'm surprised that Pete Alonso would sign that and let that ink dry. More surprised that Mets found magic money to make that deal happen, to be honest.
All right, so that's just some of the things that are bubbling under the headlines this morning as you wake up and get going with us here on a Thursday morning as we kind of join you at the breakfast table today and discuss life and times, what's going on in your world. We'd like to hear from you. Again, leave us a message on any one of the social media sites. We're monitoring the comments coming in. If you'd like to join us, 402-834-1330 is our telephone number, 402-834-1330, whether it's sports related or not. We'll talk about it here as you wake up with Huddle Up on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
News this hour brought to you by the Hastings Federal Credit Union, where they've been a part of the Hastings community since 1946. And community is at the heart of everything they do. As a nonprofit financial cooperative, the credit union is owned by the members who join, and joining, well, it's as simple as opening a primary savings account. And with a convenient drive-up, a 24-hour ATM, and a friendly staff that knows each member by name, why would you go anywhere else? That's Hastings Federal Credit Union, 707 North Marion Road, or online at hastingsfcu.org. Hastings Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender. We'll start last night with Hastings Fire and Rescue as they responded to a structure fire at Thermo King. Firefighters were dispatched around 7 o'clock and the fire was under control about 45 minutes later. Firefighters were called to a fire at the exhaust stack on the roof. When they arrived, they were directed by staff to the paint booth area, where fire crews found an active fire in the roofline in and around the air handling unit. The cause of the fire and the extent of the damage are currently under investigation. No injuries were reported. The night staff members were evacuated and sent home due to the activity. Hastings Rural Volunteer Fire Department provided mutual aid. Hastings Utilities disconnected the services, and the police department also responded to the incident. Meanwhile, a post from Hastings Public Schools on social media yesterday welcoming Dr. Christopher Prosiski as the new superintendent of Hastings Public Schools. He replaces Jeff Schneider, who announced in November that he would be retiring at the end of the school year. Prosiski has currently been the superintendent at Southern Public Schools in Blue Springs since 2017. It's 7:28. We'll swing things back over your direction, Mike. What's going down in sports?
Well, the Nebraska men's basketball team erased a 10-point halftime deficit to beat Washington 86-72 last night. Huskers trailed 47-37 at halftime, but outscored the Huskies 49-25 in the second half. Bryce Williams had 23 points for the Huskers. Jawan Gary had 17. Connor Asigian had 16. Nebraska hit 52% of their field goals in the game, including 11 of 19 from three-point range. The Huskers have now won 3 straight games to improve to 15-8 on the season, 5-7 in the conference. Nebraska will play host to Ohio State on Sunday. Tip-off will be at 1 on BTN. The Nebraska women's basketball team will battle Michigan tonight at Pinnacle Bank Arena. The Huskers are 16-6 on the season, 7-4 in the conference after Sunday's 76-60 loss to Indiana. The Wolverines are 15-7. They're 6-5 in the league after their 80-48 win over Oregon. Tip-off will be at 7. Hastings College women's basketball team jumped out to a 22-8 first quarter lead and went on to beat Mount Marty 90-52 last night at Lynn Farrell Arena. And Bose came off of the bench to score 18 points. Mariah Avila had 14. McKenna Yates had 12. Hastings now 17-6 on the season, 12-5 in the conference. They'll play at Morningside on Saturday. Hastings College men's basketball team lost to Mount Marty 58-54. Miles Simon had 16 points for the Broncos. David Hagman had 13. Hastings hit only 35% of their field goals in the game, including 8 of 28 from three-point range. Hastings is now 3-19 in the season, 2-13 in the conference. They'll play at Morningside on Saturday. Hastings College baseball team will play at St. Ambrose. Actually, will play St. Ambrose today in Salina, Kansas. The Broncos are currently 0-5 on the season. Hastings will play Clark University and Kansas Wesleyan on Friday. Hastings College softball team will play at Kansas Wesleyan on Saturday, and the Broncos will face Friends University on Sunday. The Nebraska Kearney football program has announced the names of 45 newcomers that will suit up for the Lopers this fall. The list includes 19 transfers and 26 high school seniors. The new group includes 26 offensive players, 18 on defense, and 1 kicker. High school basketball action tonight. The Adams Central girls will play at Kearney Catholic. The Patriots will be looking to break a 5-game losing streak. They are currently 7-10 in the season. The Stars are 9-9. Tip-off for the game will be at 7. And Ohio State is set to promote Brian Hartline as its primary offensive coordinator, replacing Chip Kelly, who's moved on to the NFL as the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders. Hartline is a former Ohio State standout wide receiver who has coached the team's wideout since 2018. He served as the co-offensive coordinator under Kelly last season. That's a check on your sports headlines. It is now 7:32 on Extreme Sports.
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Ample sunshine expected today with highs around 46. West winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 20 tonight, mainly clear skies. Bright sunshine tomorrow, 43. Upper 30s Saturday, much cooler on Sunday with highs in the low 30s. And that's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Frobley. Currently, it's 18 degrees.
And we've got north winds at 10 miles per hour as you wake up, get going. You're listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports for this Thursday.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Located at 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings. At Bamboo Spa, we offer a range of therapies to help you unwind and recharge. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating head spa scalp treatments, and our Advanced Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing power of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Become a member for exclusive 24-hour access to our therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydromassage, and cryo lounge. Members enjoy 20% off all services and 10% off products in our non-toxic retail shop. Visit our Facebook page to learn more and book your appointment today. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, truly holistic care, designed for you.
I'm John Butler, funeral director and owner at Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the Advanced Funeral Planning Specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Extreme Sports has been bringing you the exclusive home of Hastings College Athletics, and we're just getting started. Thanks to our incredible sponsors and your support, Extreme Sports 2 has been a huge success, and now we're excited to announce the launch of Extreme Sports 3. With Extreme Sports 3, you'll get even more local sports coverage. Plus, 24/7 access to Sports by Line, where you'll hear the best in national sports talk. Whether it's Hastings College, high school action, or the latest from around the sports world, we've got it covered across all 3 streams. And don't forget, when we're not broadcasting games, join us weekday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for Huddle Up with Mike Will and Tyson Havronik. It's the perfect way to start your day with sports, news, weather, and great local interviews. So tune in, check out all 3 streams, and stay with us for even more sports coverage coming soon. Thank you to our sponsors for making it all possible, and to you, our listeners, for keeping Extreme Sports strong.
All right, Mike Will and Tyson Havronik, welcome to a Thursday Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. It is 7:36 as we get you out the door here this morning. Danny Busboom Kelly going to be introduced as the new Husker volleyball coach officially today. I think the ceremony starts somewhere around 2 o'clock at the Devaney Center. Met up with her this week. Talked to her for the first time since she took the job. She says she took a lot of things in building her program from Louisville. She took a lot of things from former head coach John Cook.
Number one, attention to detail was super important, and that's not like is this corner clean? Of course that's important, but the attention to detail in training and just the day-to-day things that we're doing in the gym. So that was always very, very important. I also felt like keeping the team and recruiting in the forefront and understanding that everything else will work out when it's supposed to, or change when it's supposed to, but making sure those 2 things come number one, and always focusing on that really helped me navigate some times that felt a little bit overwhelming. But there's so many things you take from John and the program that you can't really verbalize or say this is my list of what he helped me do. It's just being around this program and understanding what it takes to win at a high level, and then being able to communicate that is most important.
And Danny Busboom Kelly says she also had some outside influence.
I've learned a ton, and Nebraska is an amazing place. And not that I forgot, but I think I maybe forgot a little bit just how big volleyball is here, and that's been really amazing to come back and feel that immediately. It's not even close to season. But I do know there are other places that can offer great experiences, and so what can I take from those experiences to make Nebraska a little bit more unique than it already is? I also think the leadership that I've experienced has been really important, and just knowing I worked for Ann Cordes, who is a really fiery competitor. I worked for Rob Patrick at Tennessee, who was much different and more authoritarian. And then, of course, I worked for John, who is kind of a mixture of both. And so I really got to see a lot of different styles of leadership and take the goods and the bads and use them to create my own style.
And Danny says there's a lot of work to do after she takes over officially today.
Number one, like I said, is the team and recruiting. So, getting to know these players on a deeper level, getting to know the recruits. Nebraska's been recruiting at the highest level in the country for the past few years. So how do I keep that going and make sure that standard that's been set continues? And then figuring out the staff and how do we work together. What are our strengths and weaknesses, and how do those mesh, and what changes do we need to make, and what do we need to keep the same?
And Danny says she's confident she's ready to take over a program like Nebraska.
I think a lot of it is what we've done in the past at Louisville and how we were able to build that program. And then now knowing what I did there and having some of the resources and the tools here, it just makes me feel like anything is possible. And the core values are going to be the same. It's just going to be with a little extra of everything else, which it's hard. It's hard, though. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like I'm pretty confident, but I'm already nervous for that first match. That's for sure.
All right, that's Danny Busboom Kelly as she is getting ready to take over officially for John Cook in Nebraska. Again, the ceremony is this afternoon. That's just going to be weird, isn't it? It's going to be weird talking about a different coach other than John Cook. Yeah, that's all we've ever known here.
Right.
for the past 30 years or so. John Cook, Nebraska volleyball, you and I, that's all we've ever known. But now, when you're trying to adjust to Danny Busboom Kelly.
I think since we've been in the industry, it's been John Cook. I mean, obviously Pettit before that, but since we have been reporting on sports, since we've been following the Huskers, it's been all about John Cook and his leadership and from the coaching sidelines. And yeah, it'll be a little bit different, getting set and hearing the Danny Busboom Kelly pregame show as opposed to John Cook pregame show. Husker head coach Danny Busboom Kelly, but it's got such a great feel to it, and that transition couldn't have gone any better. And the way that they put that plan into action and kept it under wraps, and that the biggest surprise for me is the fact that when this announcement was made. And Cook alluded to it. If you caught that special clip that they put on the Husker volleyball page, where they sat down and they John Cook just kind of discussed, if everything from his time and his successes from the coaching standpoint to the transition and the timeline behind that, it was one of those things that they kept really, really a very tight lid on, and it was just like John Cook driving back from speaking up at Westholt over in Atkinson and calling the athletic director and saying, yeah, it's time to get this plan in motion, and the speed that they executed that plan that they had clearly put together, but they kept this under wraps. And
yeah, I'm surprised.
Because Nebraska has, as far as their beat reporters are concerned, and sources are concerned, these beat writers, they beat everybody to the punch all the time. There's message boards. There's, formerly known as the Red Sea Scrolls, there's Huskers Online. And these people have really good sources within the athletic department that normally can blow the lid off those things and start the rumor mill. There was no rumor mill. There was no chance to have a rumor mill. There was I'm going to retire, and then 5 minutes later, a press release that says, "Oh, here's our new head coach. By the way, it's literally the national runner-up from a year ago, and we're bringing in one of our own." What a masterpiece!
And she was just happened to be in Omaha during that time at the same time that all this happened.
Absolutely wild.
So probably 2 people knew, maybe 3 people: Danny, John Cook, and Troy Dannon.
Yeah.
That was how small a circle that was. Yeah, I'm surprised that did not leak out. Mm-hmm. And it might have happened just that quickly. He was driving back from Atkinson, calls up Troy. Troy just happened to know that Danny Busboom, well, John probably said, hey, Danny is in town.
Yeah, go grab Danny.
But they had to talk sometime. So they talk on the phone.
Maybe during the Final Four at the Yum Center.
That's
having some chicken wings.
Maybe
discussion.
He probably said, "Hey, maybe in the future."
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, would you be interested in this job?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm surprised how all that came out. No one really knew about it. It happened, and bam, new head coach. Everything's all set in stone, just like that.
2:00 press conference today.
2:00. I think they're having a big shebang at the Devaney Center today.
Nice.
2:00. So
a couple comments coming in from the interwebs. We have got the Mets spending money, unlike some Midwest teams. ... And I'm thinking he's referring to the St. Louis Cardinals and possibly the Chicago Cubs. Softball note is off this weekend, and the Broncos will play next weekend. But Mets spending money, unlike some Midwestern teams, and I was going to allude to this, and I did allude to it a little bit earlier on in the week, but I wanted to touch base on this. I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan, and this administration, in its waning years, has just about become as toxic as possible. And I kind of had that feeling that there was a big front office problem. The general manager is going to be leaving at the end of the year. He's saying, I'm deuces, I'm done. We're going to bring in a new front office, but we're going to have this leadership succession plan. The management in the dugout has been iffy at best, and the attitude has clearly changed because you can tell that based on the performance. And then I saw and heard Jim Edmonds talking on KMOX, which is the ESPN affiliate down there in St. Louis, and they brought him on. And I want to just go verbatim what he said, because this is a culture that's created when you have toxic ownership groups and toxic front offices. And Jim Edmonds said this. Jim Edmonds, by the way, he's center fielder for the St. Louis Cardinals, Gold Glover, red jacket, which means he's in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Said he hasn't gone down to spring training in the last couple of years. It's not fun anymore. They don't even make you feel like you're wanted. In the inner circle, it's just not the same. It's not the same organization. It's not fun to be around. And they make it pretty obvious. Even the security guards are like, hey, you know, might not be a good time. And I'm like, fine with me. I don't need to be here. I don't know if you don't want me to tell your pitchers they're tipping their pitchers, the pitches, or this guy's pulling off. I really don't give two SHITs about it. So you have a guy that's clearly wanting to help out an organization and a coaching staff that doesn't want him to be there. And that's not just Jim Edmonds that's experiencing that. But, like, that used to be such a ball club. You know, think in terms of the Yankees organizational structure, where you're a Yankee. Once you're a Yankee, you're always a Yankee, and you come back and you help out with the organization during spring training, and you learn from those who did it and those who did it great. And it's just clear that the St. Louis Cardinals front office right now is a joke. And I think from the Cardinal fan perspective, we can't wait to get rid of this current administration.
God, who pooped in your cornflakes today?
I just wanted to get to that. You're talking about a star like Jim Edmonds, who's basically getting locked out of spring training, and he's not the only one. I mean, this Bill DeWitt ownership group, this good Lord, John Mosliak, general management, it has been horrible. Ollie Marmol is a clown. And we haven't even started baseball season yet. This is sour because we have not even started the season, and this is the level that we're starting with. I mean, it's literally zero within this organization.
Why are you a fan of the Cardinals then?
Because they're the best team in the land, man.
Why? If you don't like the front office, you don't like the things that are going on, even in the off season, why the hell can you follow this team? It's like the Rams in the last half hour that you were whining about. It's the same. It's the same thing. The Rams ownership you don't like. Now the next half hour you're on St. Louis Cardinals. You don't like their front office. Don't like what they're doing. Same thing. Why do you continue to follow the Cardinals then?
Because they at least stayed put in St. Louis. They've at least not relocating.
For now,
they're not relocating. One of the most historic franchises. They wouldn't. No.
So, yeah, you don't like the ownership group. You don't like what they're doing, like blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, boy, come opening day, ho, yeah, great, St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I'll be decked out, man.
Yeah, I know.
I'll be decked out.
I don't understand your thinking.
I mean, not a lot of people do. You're not alone in that. You're not alone in that line of thought. But I'm gonna call a spade, and get out of your own way, man. That's what I'm just trying to, from the front office perspective, and that's the part about being a Midwestern baseball team is they don't spend money, they don't give back to the fans that work their ass off to pay overpriced tickets, to get overpriced beer, to watch players that are getting overpaid, that are putting money in your pocketbooks, and you can't spend for the fans. That's what I'm upset about.
Sounds like the Royals sometimes.
In a very, very 9 degrees way of getting there, I finally got there, but that's what I'm upset about. And the Royals are the same team.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah, the Royals, they won't spend a lot of money either.
At least they locked down Bobby Witt, so...
I got some messages coming in on Facebook.
Yeah,
Jim says, with all of our cell phones and all the stuff that's going on, it's a wonder that something didn't get out. Even if it was a cell phone conversation between John Cook and Troy Dannon and Danny Busboom Kelly. Yeah, you know how those cell phones listen to things. He says it's a wonder it didn't leak out before that.
Yeah.
I'm just reading the Facebook messages here that everybody has sent in.
Good Lord, yeah. You were a fan of the Chiefs when they were terrible.
Yeah, but
that wasn't a front office.
No, that wasn't a front office debacle. That was just the Chiefs were not good. We had Elvis Gerbach as a quarterback instead of Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, no, Bono.
Oh, no, Bono. Remember him?
Yeah.
It wasn't a front office issue. It was just the team was bad. We went through thick and thin.
Good
and now,
chiming in here.
And now we get to the Super Bowl, and this is the way our season is supposed to end, one way or the other, to make it to the Super Bowl.
Eric says if you want the Cubs ownership group, you're welcome to them. Jim, back to we did people follow Nebraska through all the coaching changes and losing seasons. Dedication and loyalty, Holmes. Dedication and loyalty. That's why we do what we do. But again, I don't think. Well, yeah, okay. Nebraska. that brings up a good argument because we had some bad administrations. Eichhorst, Peterson. All those numbskulls that were running the program into the ground, and we continued to follow.
Yeah.
We continued to follow along, right? So that's the same mentality.
Yeah, I guess that's the same mentality as you and the Cardinals. Jim's got a good point there.
Good. Thanks for the save, Jim.
Yeah.
The assist.
He comes out of the bullpen with a nice save. Good job, Jim.
The eighth inning was looking a little rocky.
Yeah, it was. Well, everybody was saying, why is Tyson so cranked up on everything today?
Mm-hmm.
We had him cranked up on the Rams in the first half hour. Now we're cranked up in the Cardinals in the second half hour.
To be fair, I mean, like, it's not the Rams per se. Like, it's not.
The hell it ain't. You just don't like them.
It's not Sean McVay. It's not the rest of the guys that put on that jersey. It's just the front office. Like, yeah, they're dead to me.
Oh, well, the Rams aren't playing this weekend.
Thank God.
The good teams are playing this weekend.
It was a tough Super Bowl when they were in, when they moved to LA and they won that Super Bowl. That was a tough game.
Yeah, the good teams are still playing this weekend. We'll have NFL football. The good teams. 5:30 kickoff, by the way, for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Super Bowl 60?
59.
59.
LIX.
I know. I can't figure out those letters. We tried to figure them out the other day.
L I think is 50.
Is a 50, and
then because
the B,
X is 10, but the I that goes before the X means one, or it means one less, which means 9.
Yeah. So it's 59 this year.
59. Be the 60th anniversary next year.
So it's
LIX.
LIX this week.
Mm-hmm.
LIX. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those stupid. Why don't they just say Super Bowl 59?
It goes back to Super Bowl 5, by the way.
Who cares? I don't care when it goes back. Why don't they just use numbers?
There's a great read on it. You Google search that. Why is the Super Bowl in Roman numerals?
Yeah, what relationship does that have?
It's a beautiful read.
Roman numerals. Why do we have to go Roman? Why don't we just go Super Bowl 59? It makes it hard for us, like in the media biz, that look at that and say, all right, what number is this? You got to think twice. We're not very smart sometimes. That's why we're in this business. We're not very smart.
LIX. All you have to do is type in what is LIX in Roman numerals.
Why not, Matt? It's an additional step. Why don't you just put 59 out there?
Oh, you get an education. Not only is the game fun and entertaining, it's also educational.
Maybe somebody has a take on that. Why do we use Roman numerals to announce what Super Bowl it is? Why don't you just say 59?
Good.
Make it a lot easier. A lot easier. 7:54, waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning on Huddle Up.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
News this hour brought to you by the Hastings Federal Credit Union, where they've been lighting the way to financial success since 1946. Hastings Federal Credit Union is proud to be your trusted long-term financial partner. As a nonprofit financial cooperative, the credit union is owned by the members who join, and joining, well, it's as simple as opening a primary savings account. And you can access your accounts wherever you go with mobile banking, bringing you the financial peace of mind straight from the palm of your hand, where you can securely and conveniently manage your accounts and loans at any time from anywhere. Transfer funds, deposit checks, pay bills with Bill Pay, and quickly access your account balances to help you cover whatever little curveballs life throws your way with mobile banking today. It's one of the many ways you can experience the credit union difference. That's Hastings Federal Credit Union, 707 North Marion Road, or online at hastingsfcu.org. Hastings Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender. We start off this morning with news from Hastings Public Schools, where they made the announcement yesterday welcoming Dr. Christopher Prosiski as the new superintendent of Hastings Public Schools. He replaces Jeff Schneider, who announced back in November that he would be retiring at the end of the school year. Prosiski has been superintendent at Southern Public Schools in Blue Springs since 2017. Meanwhile, Hastings Fire and Rescue responded to a structure fire last night at Thermo King. They were dispatched at around 7 o'clock and the fire under control about 45 minutes later. They were called to a fire at the exhaust stack on the roof, and when they arrived, were dispatched by staff to the paint booth area. Firefighters found an active fire in the roof line in and around the air handling unit. Thermo King night staff members were then evacuated and sent home due to the firefighting activities. The cause of the fire and the extent of the damage are currently under investigation. 4 minutes until 8 o'clock. We'll spin things back over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's happening in sports?
Well, the Nebraska basketball team picking up a big win at Washington last night. The Huskers winning 86-72. Nebraska's now won 3 straight games. They're 15-8 on the season. 5-7 in the conference. They'll play host to Ohio State on Sunday. Tip-off at 1 on BTN. Nebraska women will be on the floor tonight at home to take on Michigan. Tip-off will be at 7. Hastings College women's basketball team jumped out to a 22-8 first quarter lead. Went on to beat Mount Marty last night, 90-52. The Broncos now 17-6. They're 12-5 in the conference. Hastings College men, they lost to the Lancers 58-54. Both teams will play at Morningside on Saturday. High school basketball tonight. Adams Central girls will play at Kearney Catholic. Patriots looking to break a 5-game losing streak tonight. They're currently 7-10 in the season. The Stars are 9-9. Tip-off will be at 7. To check in your sports headlines at 7:58.
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Ample sunshine expected today with highs around 46. West winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 20 tonight, mainly clear skies. Bright sunshine tomorrow, 43. Upper 30s Saturday, much cooler on Sunday with highs in the low 30s. And that's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Frobley. Currently, it's 18 degrees.
And we've got north winds at 10 at Extreme Sports.
Connet Auto Care is the trusted name in automotive repair and maintenance services in Hastings. We're a gold-certified Napa Auto Care Center. Our ASE-certified technicians have the Blue Seal of Excellence, receive continuous training, and are committed to providing the best service your vehicle can get. Whether it's preventative maintenance, major repairs, or just an oil change, Connet Auto Care is here for you.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Located at 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings. At Bamboo Spa, we offer a range of therapies to help you unwind and recharge. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating head spa scalp treatments, and our Advanced Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing power of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Become a member for exclusive 24-hour access to our therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge. Members enjoy 20% off all services and 10% off products in our non-toxic retail shop. Visit our Facebook page to learn more and book your appointment today. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, truly holistic care, designed for you.
Join us for the Little Blue River Pheasants Forever Banquet and Auction, Saturday, February 15th at the Adams County Fairgrounds in Hastings.
All right, Mike Will, Tyson Vronic with you on this Thursday. I was just going to see if I could get the pheasants.
The jig.
I wanted to talk about the pheasants today, but
yeah, the banjo jig.
It didn't want to play today.
No.
That's all right. Anyway, a lot to talk about here today. We got through basically everything that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
we reached the end of the program here today. What else
Covered
is going on? What else is going on today? Anything good?
All the grounds. Interestingly enough, the two NBA teams we talked about, they're actually squaring off in the Lakers and the Warriors tonight. They're
playing one another?
Yeah, they're playing one another 9 o'clock tonight. Another one of those games that we'll be up for, obviously. But big win for the Big Red, and lots of discussion moving forward. I think, as we look ahead. So
tomorrow, I would say we would look forward to our Super Bowl picks, but I already know where you stand, and everybody knows where I stand. So that's kind of anticlimactic tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless you're gonna switch sides.
I don't know yet.
You won't cheer for the Chiefs.
I'm still doing some research. I mean, this is the last one, right? Like, this is the last big bet. So, I'm looking at over underlines, I'm looking at the line, I'm looking at prop bets and seeing what kind of 5-team, if you will, 5-bet parlay can I throw together here and try to make a little cash to wind up the football season. So at some point you got to start betting with your head and not your heart, and we'll see what direction I'm leaning. But we can make score predictions tomorrow. We can cover the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we'll get you some bets. We'll get you some bets tomorrow.
Yeah,
for the Super Bowl. There's
best bets.
Yeah, the best bets out of the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You got the game and the over-unders, and like you said, all the prop bets.
All the prop bets.
You can bet it any way you want.
I say let's do Blazing 5.
Blazing 5 with just the Super Bowl.
Blazing 5 top 5 best bets.
God, I'm gonna have to go to work now today.
I just want to hear the music again. It's been too long.
We're gonna do it for basketball.
We're
gonna do it for basketball somehow.
To do it for fire.
Probably for
basketball.
Probably for the tournament. We'll come up with something for
there
the Blazing 5. We can do it tomorrow. We'll do Blazing 5, and we'll do the top 5 Super Bowl bets.
Top 5 Super Bowl bets.
On our Blazing 5 tomorrow.
I'm going to have to do some research.
Yeah, that means I'll have to go.
Crap.
I got
homework.
I was just going to take today off.
I went to the show and I got homework today. What the hell?
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. Top 5 Super Bowl bets tomorrow.
Sounds good, man.
Blazing 5. All right, have yourself a great day. Come back tomorrow morning at 7. If you'd like to listen to the show again, you can on our social media sites. Just hook up to the podcast section. You'll hear this show again. Even Roku TV. If you're on Roku TV on the app there, you can click on and listen to the show in its entirety again today. So thanks for joining us. We'll do it again tomorrow morning at